The wind had begun to murmur secrets along the narrow, cobbled streets of a town that seemed forever caught between the light of day and the mysteries of night. In the heart of this town, beneath the steady glow of street lamps and the watchful eyes of ancient stone buildings, lived a girl who was known by many names. A scholar, a detective in her own right, a quiet genius whose wisdom defied her years. Her name was Alina, though few ever uttered it aloud. Instead, she was known simply as the girl who knew a lot. Alina was not one to boast about her intellect. She carried herself with a gentle humility that belied the staggering depth of knowledge she possessed. Her days were spent poring over dusty tomes in the town's ancient library, and her nights were devoted to listening intently to the whispers of the wind, which, in her eyes, carried stories and hints of secrets waiting to be unearthed. The townspeople spoke in hushed tones about how she could decipher the most cryptic clues and find patterns where others saw chaos. It was this unique ability that had drawn the attention of the local authorities when a mysterious case rattled the town to its core. One chilly autumn evening, as leaves danced like fiery spirits across the cobbles, the police found themselves entangled in a case that defied explanation. A series of baffling occurrences had taken place. A string of burglaries in which nothing appeared to be stolen, yet the victims were left with a sense of violation that could not be easily dismissed. Rumors swirled that someone had been systematically targeting the town's most valuable secrets, something intangible yet profoundly important. The local police, despite their best efforts, found themselves in a labyrinth with no clear exit. That is when an officer, weary yet determined, recalled the quiet girl who had often been seen at the library and by the fountain in the town square. Officer Raymond, a seasoned veteran with a keen sense of justice, decided to visit her. He approached the library with a mix of respect and apprehension, aware that behind the stacks of books lurked insights that could unravel mysteries beyond the mundane. Alina was there, as always, lost in the pages of an ancient volume that chronicled forgotten legends and half-remembered dreams. When she looked up, her eyes held a spark of knowing, as if she had been waiting for this very moment. "Officer Raymond," she said softly, her voice carrying the cadence of someone who understood the ebb and flow of fate. "I've been expecting you." Taken aback, Raymond found himself momentarily speechless. "How is it that you knew I would come?" She smiled enigmatically. "Sometimes, the winds of change blow in directions we cannot anticipate. And sometimes, the clues are left for those who are willing to see them." With those words, she set aside her book and beckoned him to sit beside her at a worn wooden table tucked away in a quiet corner of the library. For the next several hours, under the soft glow of a solitary lamp, Alina and Officer Raymond examined every detail of the case. She had already been gathering pieces of information from her own subtle observations. A discarded scrap of fabric caught on a broken window latch, an odd set of symbols etched faintly on a nearby wall, and the inexplicable pattern of the burglaries that hinted at something beyond mere theft. Her mind worked like a finely tuned instrument, connecting dots that many had failed to notice. As the night deepened, Alina explained, "The burglaries are not about material wealth. They are a deliberate effort to erase memories, to steal the intangible essence of our collective history." Her words resonated with a gravity that made Raymond's heart pound with both dread and hope. There is a pattern hidden in plain sight. Each scene contains an anomaly, a misplaced object, a strange mark, or even a subtle sound that resonates with the past. It's as if the culprit is trying to rewrite the town's story, one memory at a time. In the days that followed, the duo embarked on a journey through the labyrinthine alleyways and shadowed courtyards of the town, following clues that led them to places where the past and present intertwined. They visited the old clock tower, where the echoes of chimes once heralded important events, the abandoned theater, its dusty stage a silent witness to countless performances, and even the forgotten cemetery, where ancient tombstones bore witness to lives long past. At each location, Alina's insights illuminated details that had eluded the casual observer, piecing together a puzzle that was both intricate and chilling. Her mind was a vault of knowledge, containing not only facts and figures, but also an instinctual understanding of human nature and history. She would say, "Every place has its story, and every story leaves a trace, a subtle mark that, when read correctly, reveals the truth." Her words were not mere conjecture. They were observations distilled from years of quiet study and a deep, almost mystical connection to the town's soul. One particularly foggy morning, while the town was wrapped in a shroud of mist, a breakthrough occurred. In the ruins of an old manor on the outskirts of town, they discovered a hidden room that had long been forgotten. The room was filled with relics of a bygone era, faded photographs, handwritten letters, and peculiar trinkets that seemed to belong to a secret world. Alina's eyes lit up as she carefully examined an antique mirror, its surface etched with cryptic symbols. "This mirror," she murmured, "is not merely a relic. It is a window to what once was, and perhaps a guide to what might be." Her voice trembled with a mix of excitement and foreboding, for she knew that each artifact told a tale, a narrative of loss, love, and betrayal. Back in the town's modest police station, the case began to take on a more sinister hue. Rumors grew louder, whispers of a shadowy figure who was not content with merely erasing memories, but was intent on altering the very fabric of reality. The local media, ever hungry for sensational stories, started to dub the unknown culprit the Phantom Archivist. But Alina, with her steady gaze and calm demeanor, saw through the sensationalism. There is always a reason behind every act, even those that seem to defy logic, she would say. The Phantom Archivist is not a force of evil, but a misguided soul, tormented by a past that refuses to fade away. Officer Raymond, though deeply affected by the case, found solace in Alina's unyielding determination and clarity. Together, they pored over every scrap of evidence, every historical record, and every faint whisper of a rumor. Late into many nights, the pair would sit together under the starry sky, discussing theories and dissecting clues. Sometimes, Alina said during one of these long nights, "The answers lie not in what we see, but in what we feel. A building may crumble, but the memories it houses remain, etched in the hearts of those who once walked its halls." Her words resonated deeply with Raymond, who had seen enough darkness in his years on the force to know that sometimes the most subtle clues were the ones that held the key to salvation. The case had taken on an almost mythic quality, and as the investigation deepened, the line between myth and reality began to blur. Alina's insights grew sharper, her deductions more precise, until one fateful evening she uncovered a critical piece of evidence, an old diary, its pages yellowed with age, hidden behind a false wall in the manor's basement. The diary belonged to a man who had once been the caretaker of the manor, a man whose words revealed a tortured soul consumed by regret and a desperate desire to preserve the past. As she read the diary aloud in the quiet confines of the station, her voice was steady but laced with sorrow. He writes of a time when the town was whole, when every memory was cherished. But as the years passed, he grew disillusioned with the changing world, a world that seemed eager to forget its own history. In his grief, he began to believe that by erasing certain memories, he could salvage the essence of what was truly important. The diary ended with an ambiguous note, a plea for forgiveness and an admission of responsibility for actions that, in retrospect, were nothing short of tragic. It was then that the true nature of the mystery began to emerge. The burglaries were not acts of random destruction, but a desperate attempt by a once hopeful soul to control the uncontrollable flow of time and memory. With this newfound revelation, Alina and Officer Raymond realized that they were not dealing with a cold-hearted criminal, but with a tormented individual driven by an overwhelming need to preserve the past. The investigation took on a humanitarian aspect as much as a criminal one, and the community, once divided by fear and suspicion, began to see the echoes of loss in the actions of the Phantom Archivist. In hushed town meetings, citizens recounted their own memories, stories of love, sacrifice, and hope that had been overshadowed by the relentless march of time. Slowly, The case transformed from one of blame and retribution to a poignant exploration of what it meant to remember and to forget. Yet, the mystery was far from solved. As Alina delved deeper, she discovered more layers to the story, a network of long-forgotten connections between the townspeople, the very buildings that house their collective memories, and the enigmatic figure who had once been a respected keeper of history. Every new clue opened a door to another secret, and every secret led to more questions. The case had become a tapestry of human emotion and historical intricacy, woven together by the delicate hands of fate. Alina's role grew ever more vital as she used her gift to navigate the labyrinth of clues, her mind piecing together the fragments of the past to form a coherent picture of loss and longing. In one particularly tense moment, during a rain-soaked night when the town was shrouded in darkness and doubt, Alina found herself face-to-face with a man whose eyes were haunted by the ghosts of memories best left undisturbed. Under the flickering neon sign of an old diner, he confessed in a trembling voice, "I was there when everything changed. I saw the night when the shadows took hold, and I know what it feels like to lose everything that matters." His words were a confession, a cry for redemption, and a testament to the power of memory. Alina listened intently, her heart aching with both empathy and resolve. "Your memories are not burdens to be hidden away," she whispered. "They are the very essence of who you are, and they deserve to be remembered with dignity." Her words, soft yet imbued with an unwavering strength, resonated with the man, and, in that moment, he saw in her not just a helper, but a beacon of hope. As days turned into weeks and the case began to unravel, the tension in the town gave way to a cautious optimism. Alina's unwavering commitment had not only shed light on the mystery, but had also healed old wounds. With every uncovered secret and every shared memory, the people of the town began to understand that forgetting was not always an act of mercy. It was sometimes a painful denial of their own identity. The once shadowed streets now buzzed with a newfound determination to preserve the legacy of their community, to honor both the joyous and sorrowful moments that defined them. One evening, in a quiet moment of reflection by the river that ran past the town, Officer Raymond turned to Alina. "You have changed everything," he said softly, "not just by solving a case, but by showing us that every memory, no matter how painful, has its place in our story." Alina's eyes glimmered with the quiet knowledge that her work was far from over. "Our past is not something to be erased," she replied. "It is the foundation upon which we build our future. Every fragment of memory, every whispered secret, is a piece of the puzzle that makes us who we are." Her words, spoken with conviction and compassion, echoed over the gentle lapping of the river and resonated in the hearts of all who heard them. In the aftermath of the case, as the town began to heal, Alina's legacy grew. She continued to wander the streets, her eyes ever watchful for the subtle signs of forgotten stories. People began to seek her counsel, not as a detective, but as a guardian of memories, a storyteller whose narrative wove the fabric of their collective identity. She taught them that knowledge was not merely about facts and figures, but about understanding the delicate interplay between past and present, joy and sorrow, hope and despair. Years later, when the town had transformed into a place where the old and the new coexisted in a harmonious dance of remembrance, children would gather around a crackling fire in the town square, listening wide-eyed as an elder recounted the tale of the girl who knew a lot. With each retelling, the story grew richer, layered with the insights of generations. And though the girl herself had long since become a part of local legend, her spirit lived on in every whispered memory and every shared secret of that ancient town. In time, the lessons of her journey transcended the boundaries of that small town. Her story became a symbol of the power of knowledge and the courage to face one's past head-on. People from far and wide began to visit, hoping to catch a glimpse of the old library, the forgotten manor, or even a trace of her presence in the quiet corners of the town. And with every new visitor, the legacy of the girl who had helped the police solve a case, a case that was never really about crime, but about reclaiming the heart of a community, was etched ever more deeply into the annals of history. There were moments when a mystery would seem to creep back into the corners of the town. A stray comment in a conversation, an unusual mark on a weathered wall, or the faint echo of a long-forgotten tune in the wind. Yet, the people had learned that the passage of time was not a force to be feared, but a tapestry to be appreciated. They remembered that every secret held within the town was a thread in the vast narrative of life, a narrative that the girl who knew a lot had once begun to unravel with her quiet determination and boundless wisdom. And so, as the years rolled gently by, the town remained a living story, ever-changing yet timeless in its essence. Alina's insights continued to inspire a new generation of dreamers, scholars, and detectives. Her teachings echoed in every conversation, in every careful observation, and in every act of kindness and understanding. The mystery of the past, once a source of pain and confusion, had transformed into a celebration of life's intricacies, a tribute to the enduring power of memory and the human spirit. In the end, the legacy of that remarkable girl was not defined solely by her role in solving a baffling case, but by her gift of showing everyone that knowledge, empathy, and the courage to embrace the truth could light the darkest of paths. Her story was a reminder that every memory, every secret, and every lesson was a treasure, a gift waiting to be discovered by those willing to listen to the whispers of the wind and the echoes of history. And thus, beneath the ever-watchful gaze of the stars, the town's story lived on, a seamless, continuous saga of mystery, hope, and the eternal dance of remembrance, woven together by the gentle hands of a girl who, with quiet determination and an unyielding love for the truth, had changed everything.